This is the man, he had not yet reached the city of the holy people. So said the angels of punishment. Now what about, we must be given the charge of this man to punish him. And the other said, no, he was moving in that direction. As far as his intention goes, he had decided. So, yet the city was, quite some distance away, farther away from where he died. So according to this tradition, the Holy Prophet said, God told them to measure the distance between the city of sin and the place of his death, and between the city of the holy people and the place of his death. Whichever distance is closer, he should be counted among the dwellers of that city. And when the angels started measuring the distance from the city of the sinful towards the place where he died, the earth began to elongate and enlarge, and the yards seemed to be too short. And they went on counting yards upon yards, and they wouldn't end until there was a long, long distance created. And when they moved to the other side, the earth squeezed. And in a matter of a jitty, this other city was reached. So he said, this is the mercy of Allah. This is the magnificence of God's forgiveness. When he so desires, he can forgive people. And everything is his servant. So that is the answer. The first answer which I gave you was too, sort of idealistic. But this is a real answer. If a man having advanced that much in sin can be retrieved by the mercy of Allah, why not we ordinary people here living on earth? So if we begin to move, and here decision making is important. Once a society decides, individually of course, but collectively in the end, that we must begin to mend our ways and move in the direction of that which pleases God. From then on, they will be in safe hands. Then things will begin to change. But if you continue to proceed the disastrous road to the precipice of destruction, if on your television daily there is more message of defiance, more tone of defiance, there is no sanctity left in religious values, then of course you are asking for trouble. I hope not. Thank you.
Hazur, the next questioner is Mr. David Neil Smith from Southfield.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Are you one of our neighbors? Southfield?
Yes, neighbours.
Yes. Right.
Thank you for inviting me today. What is the place of Jesus in Islam?
Right.
And what was the Prophet Muhammad's attitude towards Christians in his lifetime?
The place of Jesus Christ in Islam belongs to the committee of prophets. And there is no differentiation between prophets of God, inasmuch as they all bore messages from God, and as such they must be obeyed and believed in. So Islam not only speaks of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, as a holy prophet of God, but also adds the title of Messiah to the person of Jesus Christ. And that title has a very special significance of a role which Jesus was to play in the history of Judaism. He was, according to the Quran, he hadn't come to change the religion of Torah, but he had to modify the attitudes within the religion of Torah. According to the Quran, undue stress was laid on revenge, because the early history of Judaism demanded that. But read the Torah, there also is a small window opening in the direction of forgiveness. Forgiveness was not forbidden the Jews, but revenge was highlighted and emphasized because of the psychological state in which the children of Israel were found under the long oppression of the Pharaohs. Many hundred years of that oppression had deprived them of their human, manly values. So they forgave in the name of goodness while it was out of cowardice. They could not take their revenge. You see, the only shattering incidents which worked like a stone thrown on a calm lake was when Moses fought for the sake of his brother, one of his people, and because he was a powerful man, he in that course happened to kill the enemy. So to take revenge was so unreal in that society that it created a roar and disturbed the whole equilibrium of relationship between the Israelites and the Pharaohs and their people. That Moses had to leave and run for safety for his life. Leave the city and run for his life to Midian. Now this is what had to be changed, and if the option of forgiveness was equally emphasized as the right to revenge, then a cowardly people, a suppressed people would always opt for forgiveness. So that is the reason why in the first phase of Judaic teachings, revenge was emphasized. When Jesus, peace be upon him, came, the entire situation was reversed. The pendulum was on exactly the opposite hand. There the revenge was stressed so much that as if the hearts of the Israelites had turned into stones. They forgot forgiveness. Shylocks were created not in the Shakespearean dramas, but everywhere in real life. So much so that the most innocent person of his age, Jesus, was intolerable to them. They cried for his blood. That indicates the hardening of their hearts to stones and even beyond. So what was the countermeasure, psychologically, best countermeasure? To withdraw temporarily from them the right to revenge. That is what Jesus did. But temporarily, because he also said he had not come to change a jot of Torah, a jot of the book. He had come to perfect the teachings in the sense that that part which had not been acted upon, that would now be acted upon, and a balance would be created. So this is the special status which Jesus holds in the Holy Quran according to God, and that is the status, his status in Islam. But let me remind you of one thing else, that according to the Quran, the Holy Prophet, of course he is considered to be the supreme among prophets, but just to believe in him is not sufficient. According to the Quran, if a Muslim believes in the truth of the Holy Prophet and rejects out of more than 100,000 prophets of the world, rejects even one prophet, he will no longer be Muslim. So the definition of Islam in Islam is so beautiful from the religious point of view that the attitude of Islam to all other religions is conciliatory. You see, I have been asking this question to many church fathers and elders who come to meet me occasionally. I said, if you are courteous to the Prophet Muhammad, it is only because you are courteous personally. But tell me honestly, according to Christianity, what is his status other than an impostor? A Christian cannot believe